Hey besties, Monica Ferguson here and welcome to World Domination. This is a safe space for absolute legends who are bold enough and brave enough to go within, to recreate their belief system, to aim high, to chase their wildest dreams and become everything that they are destined to be. This is a space for people who are serious about growth, about healing. We talk about all things mind, body, spirit, and we have the courage to go further than most people even dare to dream. Welcome, let's get into it. Hey besties, Monica Ferguson here. Welcome to this week's episode where we bring back our awesome friend Laurence Allen, who is the co-founder of Year One, which is a coaching, education and community platform that helps new and early stage entrepreneurs build sustainable, values-aligned businesses. Now here's the thing. Laurence always keeps it real, and this is why we love him so much. Right, so he's a digital nomad, he just got married, he's built this incredible business that has impact, but also allows him to live a life of freedom doing what he loves, right? And this episode is so powerful because we get really raw and vulnerable about the journey of that. What it's like to fully put yourself out into the world, open to rejection, being authentically you, what it's like to get hit in the face, basically, by people that meant a lot to you. The resistance, the projection, the things that come up for us, we get so real, and you guys are going to get so much out of this. Laurence has so many amazing insights and I can't wait for you to hear it. So enjoy. So I feel like this is going to be our greatest episode to date. I just have a feeling like the chaotic yet amazing energy already in this chat. Anyway, welcome back, my friend. Nice to have you back.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here. I feel like we have a very interesting and exciting topic planned for today.
And we'll see where it goes. But
We will.
do you think I should reveal my Frozen thing now or later?
I think you should just reveal it now because that's how we got here today for this topic, right? So I think it's a lot of good context.
I think this is important for people to see the signs though, because I honestly feel like whatever comes out in this episode, someone is going to message us and be like, holy shit, this is exactly what I needed. How did you know? Like the fact that, okay, friends, I'm going to reveal something embarrassing, but I am obsessed with Frozen. No, but like I was saying to Laurence, not the first one, the second one, because it's all about the journey, the transformation, the power, the becoming, right? And there's this magical song, which I'm going to send to Laurence after this, called Show Yourself. And it's all about this moment of remembering who you are, remembering what you're here to do, remembering your power and owning it, like fully embodying it, owning it, being proud of it. Like I have goosebumps as I say this. Those goosebump moments, right? Of like, whoa, this is actually who I am and what I was here for. And if we just go back, probably a couple of months ago now, I think, as when we booked this.
About a month.
Was it a month?
About a month. Yeah, give or take. Yeah.
So about a month ago, I was scrolling through the gram as you do, and Laurence posted the most epic story and like vulnerable post about business, right? And the journey and putting yourself out into the world and trying things and getting hated on and getting, having resistance and all these things that we all talk about all the time, but we need to really speak about in this space because this is what stops most people, right? So I just think it's so funny that I was like, that's our topic. And then today I've had Show Yourself playing in my head all day. And then as we were talking tonight, I'm like, it's all the same thing. It's this like revealing the truth of who you are. So, I mean, let's go back to that post. Do you remember how you felt that day when you wrote it? Because it was a big day, right?
Yeah.
4 years for you.
It was a huge day, absolutely. And the truth of the matter is that I didn't actually post it on the day because I had this feeling of like, so to answer your question, when I wrote the post first, I felt good, I felt great. I was like, holy shit, 4 years in business, this is amazing. So excited for this milestone. And then as soon as I'd finished it, the voices started to come into my head of like, oh, is this too preachy? Is this too showy? Like, what's and so then I kind of left it there for the day, and I was like kind of feeling a bit stink about it by the end of it. But it wasn't until I went back to the next day when I sort of actually posted it and the space or that night in between and sort of reflecting on it and talking to my partner as well, that you know, there was so much that I should be proud of and excited to share, and that I shouldn't let obviously these voices and these hurdles of things what people have said in the past get in my way of actually sharing this and bringing this to the world. Um, because who knows, it might impact other people. It might sort of give other people a bit of hope or inspiration. But also for myself, it was like kind of that moving past that blocker of maybe some of this past experience or negative experience, and allow myself to truly celebrate and step into this new chapter of 4 years. Um, so yes, huge amounts of excitement, then a whole lot of doubt before then finally when posting it, very proud, and then the excitement came back as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I resonate. I resonate a lot. Um, and I think it's so important for people to hear this again. I know we say these sorts of things all the time, but
Mm,
just because you see people online posting stuff doesn't mean it's easy for them. Like it doesn't mean that we're not
mm.
having mental breakdowns on the regular.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like, how many times have you posted or shared something and then deleted it, right? And then reposted it and then maybe deleted it again, like as your mind starts playing these tricks on you. Just because you see a final product of what someone's put out online doesn't mean there's been a whole lot of internal turmoil that's happened before getting to that space. It's not always like that, but it definitely does happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And every single fear, every insecurity, every doubt just gets magnified because we're literally
Hmm.
under a spotlight. Like the moment that you hit
Yeah.
post, you're out in the world for anyone to see you, to criticize you, to project. Like it's not easy. It's a real nervous
Mm.
system thing, which is why
Yeah.
yeah, we do so much of this internal work, right? Because it's not enough to just be motivated and have a plan. If your own body
Mm.
doesn't feel safe, which is
Hmm.
why most people quit, because yeah, you put something out and have no one engaged for 2 weeks straight, you're gonna feel
Hmm.
like all
That's the
sorts of
shit.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. To put it nicely.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
It's interesting too the timing. Like we yesterday, that's just this theme. This maybe this
Yeah.
podcast is for me. Like
Yeah.
I'm the one. But this whole theme of showing ourselves, like it's
Yeah.
I'm always pushing myself to be more authentic, more
Mm.
real. Um,
Mm.
because that's what separates us from everyone else, right? It's like our authentic voice.
Yeah.
But that's also the most terrifying part because what if people hate you? What if people attack you? Especially in our line of
Yeah.
work, where let's be honest, like there are so many haters on the internet who are victims.
Mm.
If you start speaking about taking action, moving things forward, you're accountable for yourself. Holy, I have
Yeah.
a blocked list that is insanely long. Like,
Yeah.
oh my
I feel
God.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. The more you do it, the more you put yourself out there, the more these people do show up, and they feel compelled to point out everything that you've done wrong or everything that may not sort of align with their beliefs. And hey, they're a lot of space. They can say what they want to say, but it does. You notice that the more you grow, the more you put yourself out there, the more these people do show up, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
So, okay, 4 years. You've probably had a lot of hits. And again,
Mm.
like it's important that we talk about it because can you remember, and you don't have to name names or anything like that, but do you have memory of like, or name and shame, we'll go around to their house afterwards.
Oh my gosh, no.
Just kidding. But like are there key moments for you that like almost took you out in terms of, people in your
Mm.
life? Because I know for me there are so many. And they were the
Absolutely.
last people that I ever would have expected.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, absolutely. There's been a couple of really key moments. But before even the key moments, there have even just been times from strangers on the internet as well, where just like again, there was this one post that I remember doing maybe about a year and a half, no, about 2 years ago now. Actually, it was kind of just as I started traveling full time, and I sort of was just sharing about who I am, that I'm a digital nomad, this sort of stuff, and the amount of hate for some reason that post got compared to just nice positive comments isn't like people being like, oh, it's another one. Oh, this is a person showing up in our cities again, just taking our spaces, making it higher cost of living for us. Like I don't know what happened with the algorithm that day, but it was just like it was wild. It was a wild journey when I was wanting to share something exciting about stepping into this dream of being a digital nomad. But yeah, so like there are times where, yeah, just the amount of stuff from strangers can overwhelm. And that's just an important note for everyone listening. Like when you see your friends and family to be posting and sharing these things, like it doesn't take much just to add an extra like or a comment. It doesn't mean if they're a business you have to buy their services or anything like that. It's just showing that love and support so that the algorithm then starts to show it with other people that may like and support and share the same beliefs and values that you and your friend do, or you and your family member do. So it just goes a long, long way. But to answer your actual question though, around a couple of key moments, yeah, absolutely. So probably one of the ones that hit me the hardest was a good friend of mine, like a really close friend, um, in front of other friends, calling me out and calling me a poor man's Tony Robbins. Because again, this is probably earlier on in my journey where I was kind of just more. I don't even think I'd quite fully stepped into like a coach role yet, and I was more just sharing stuff on social media about like personal development, the journey I was going on. Um, and yeah, to have someone like that who I, until that point, confided in things and shared journeys with and struggles with, like to then turn around and say that, it was very, like I can remember sitting there and just like it was one of those kind of classic, not to try and make it too dramatic or like movie like, but one of those kind of situations where everything else slowed down. Everyone else was having a good time around me. And I was kind of just sitting there in this moment. It was very, yeah, it was very tough and very much lingered for a long, long time. And even came up as I went to post that post and share that post about the 4 years. That voice came through. His voice came through and said exactly those things. So that was a very tough time. It's a very tough moment, one that sort of very nearly kind of maybe stopped the journey altogether. And that was right at the beginning. But I've had other times where just like close like mentors, back when I was working in corporate, people that I just respected the hell out of, when sharing kind of this was when I was going to share the vision of like going, becoming a digital nomad, stepping outside of my corporate role, doing my business full time. And I thought this people would be, or this person would be excited for me. And then I share this dream with them, and they straight away say, not in these exact words, but like, what are you doing? That's ridiculous. Like, stay, stay in this role where you've got it good, sort of thing. Um, so when someone like that, who you've looked up to for the last, I think at that point, 4 years maybe, um, as a mentor, yeah, definitely throws you off, right?
Oh
Mm.
yeah. And it's like it seems like, that saying the call comes from inside the house. It's like it feels like that
Mm,
more often. Like a stranger writing some crap on a post, you're like, who cares? And you can
mm,
clearly see it for what it is, right?
yeah.
Projection. But when
Hmm.
it's like your own family, so like for
Hmm.
example, for now I have no contact with any of these family members anymore. But three, this is
Mm,
this is like my inner
hmm.
family
Hmm.
members. Three out of the four of them in like 7 years of business, none of them liked a post once, but they all
Mm,
saw it. And I know
mm,
that because one of them got drunk once and quoted word for word things that I'd said in my videos. So I sat there,
mm,
watched it, chose not to engage, yet I was supportive of them and all of their
mm,
endeavors. And I was like,
mhm,
oh, like that sort of thing is hard. Like when you're already it's scary, right? You're already feeling like, am I even good enough? Like you've
mm,
riddled with imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to think I could do this? And then your own family don't believe you. And then all your friends start getting annoyed when you grow and they start just ghosting or disappearing. And there was no fight, there was no drama. They just stopped returning your calls. But they all still
yeah,
hang out. And they were friends that
yeah.
met because of you. And you're just like watching this happen. And it's
Mm,
happened
mm.
so many times. Or my very first coach said to me, I wouldn't hire you. And I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
literally
What?
said that to me. And this is
That's
why
wild.
my whole thing is like clearing shame, like self compassion first. Because I'm like, do you think you're going to
Mm,
shame me into getting results? I'm already here. I've
mm,
already paid thousands
mm,
of dollars. I'm already doing the
mm.
work. Like, what more do you want from me? Yeah, kick me when I'm down. That's a really cool idea. Um,
Oh,
and stuff like that. Or when I because my first business was a photographer, and I
Yep.
built up
Yep.
a bit of a rep in like Wellington for being like the confidence building photographer. And I was really
Mm,
active in this women's networking group. And I wanted to change profession. Like I wanted to move into the
yep.
coaching world, and they
Yep.
wouldn't let me. They said, your qualifications are not good enough, even though I had more qualifications than other people in the group. You're not qualified enough. You're too young. I was 30 at the time. You don't have enough life experience. No one will work with you. Like I was told this by the 2IC of like the
Yeah.
national manager told me this. Women's empowerment. So I said, I'm not going to repeat exactly what I said, but I basically said, see ya. And I
Yeah.
removed myself from the group that day. And I'd been in that group
Mm,
for like 5 years, and I brought in like 30
mm.
members. I'd been like the cheerleader for everyone. And I'm like,
Massive advocate.
damn, man, that's like, what is wrong with people? Like, you're literally in an empowerment role and you're just shitting on everyone. And yeah,
Yeah.
you kind of file it away. I think I use it now as evidence of what I don't want to be. So
Yeah. Oh,
every
yeah,
time I
exactly.
see someone like that, I'm like, that's so embarrassing for you. Like, gross.
Mm, mm.
Imagine that being your legacy. I will be the
Yeah.
opposite.
Yeah.
I will make people feel good and worthy.
Yeah.
And, it's just, oh my God, it's
Yep.
vile.
That's a brilliant way to look at it though. And it's like it's the similar kind of thoughts as, some people keep like a kindness folder, which is something that I do, like kind words that I've received from like friends and clients and all that sort of stuff to remind me. But it's also like the same of actually keeping a bit of a, don't want to be folder of like, situations and moments that you experience that you're like, you know what, heck no, I'm never going to be like that. Um,
Yeah.
to kind of remind us. But a question for you then, and happy for you to throw this back at me as well, obviously, but like all these tough experiences that you've gone through, um, and things people have said and when they've put you down, and just remembering those and feeling those, like, has the journey still been worth it? And when you do it again?
Yes, it has been worth it, and I would do it again. But I'm glad that I didn't know what was going to happen, because if I had known,
Mm,
I wouldn't have started. There's no way. Like, if I had known
yeah,
you're gonna have like 3,000 hits to the throat before you even have your first win, I'd be like, yeah, I'm good. I was going to get a bank job or something, something like that. But yeah, I'm glad that I didn't know. If I had known, like in
mhm,
advance, you're
yeah,
gonna lose. If you actually want to be this version of yourself, you're gonna lose your marriage. Did you know that I was married
yeah.
before?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, I did. Yeah,
you're gonna have to walk away from your marriage because it's draining the life out of you. You're gonna lose all your friends and all your family.
yeah,
And I think it's important for people to know, like,
yeah.
that the video that I posted yesterday, which was just like, oh god damn, like
Mm,
it's so lonely. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not that was not like a little tantrum. That was genuinely, there are times when I'm like, I don't even know who I could call or talk to about this. Like, literally,
yeah,
it's not a small thing. So yeah, throw that question back at you. If you had known.
yeah. Yes, absolutely, without a doubt, right? I think for every shitty situation, every tough conversation, every time I've been put down or anything, um, if I look back at them, there's always some sort of core memory or beautiful moment that balances that out and truthfully would outweigh the negative. Um, but interesting, like what you were saying, like would you actually wanted to have known what that journey or that pain's going to have been like? I almost think I'm the opposite. I think I would have liked to know. Like I don't necessarily know if it would have stopped me. Who knows? It's hard to tell, really, truthfully. Um, but I think I probably went into it a little bit too naive to think that it was all going to be okay and that it was going to be smooth sailing.
Oh,
Because
same. Yeah,
like
same.
thankfully I hadn't experienced too much like hardship until that point. So yeah, I think I did go into it a little bit too naive. So some awareness on what the true journey was actually going to be like, I think would have been some well-deserved wisdom that, yeah, could have been shared at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so if we go back to that moment, your movie moment,
Mm,
where you've just been hit in the face basically by your friend. Well, we won't call him
mm,
friend, ex-friend.
mm, mm-hmm.
From that moment, because we all know you didn't just go, oh, haha, funny. You went home and thought about it. Like, how did you
Yep.
move? How did you process that? Like, what was your internal process?
Very good question. I think initially it was just bury it. Again, it was quite early on in the journey. I didn't really sort of know exactly what to do with it, maybe. I did just sort of tuck it away, try not to think about it. But as we know, that just doesn't work. It always decides to come back up. Every time I saw him, obviously, as it was in our close friend group. But then it started to like kind of seep into other things, like when I was posting or sharing, or even starting to actually step into coaching and run sessions or workshops. Um, but I think, and I mean, and like I sort of said at the start, have I truly worked through it to the point where it no longer bothers me? No, because it did come up obviously when I went to post that 4 years post. Um, but I think the way that I sort of allow myself to still move through situations like this as much as possible is coming back to my core values. I'm a big believer in our core values and understanding what our values are so that we can take action in alignment with those values. So, for example, if I to keep it a practical example, like if I was to post a post like on Instagram and these feelings of uncertainty or doubt, or say his voice came back into my mind, I could look and understand, all right, well, my values are this. Does this post actually align to those values? If I posted this, would I be living in alignment with my values? And if it's a yes, then I post it. If for whatever reason it's a no, which sometimes that is actually the case because maybe I'm doing it posting for, I don't know, an ego reason. Maybe there was a post, I'm like, shit, I look amazing in this photo. I'm posting anyway, but it doesn't quite align with my values. Weird example, I know, but like, there's just to illustrate that there are times where it doesn't align. And then if that's the case, then I can comfortably like, all right, no, well, I won't actually post it. Or the flip side, yes, I will post it. But that, transfers to everything in terms of like business with new clients that I work with, or if I'm running a workshop or taking on some new opportunity, whatever it might be. Again, I kind of go back to those values, and especially if some sort of doubt or uncertainty comes into my mind as I'm about to make a decision. That's what I use as my compass, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, how do you deal with the possibility of not being liked or hated for being yourself?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
big question, I know, but I think it's important.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. It's a, yeah, it kind of just, it's actually very interesting because this is literally a conversation I was having with one of my clients last week. But I think, and I was asking him the questions, but like as I mean, truthfully, I think there's always going to be a moment, or there's always going to be times where it does feel shitty and it does feel uncomfortable, as if people dislike you. We're human, we're social creatures. We do have that natural tendency to want to be included. So I think you either have to do a shitload of self-improvement, development work, understanding work to never be affected by that. Do I even believe that? Not necessarily, because I feel like everyone will still have a little moment of like, if there's that dislike towards them. Um, However, I think the way that I like to look at it is that it's almost like an energy system where if you allow to everyone, you have as much energy in your life that you have, and each day you have a certain amount of energy you better give and do. And if you allow these sort of this dislike and this negative to sort of get at you and impact you, it lowers that energy, and then you have less energy to actually give to those that you care about and those that you want to be doing and serving and doing good with. So that's kind of the way that I like to think about it. I'm very visual in my mind. So if I see these sort of attacks coming at me, I put up, you know, boundaries or barriers to protect that energy, knowing that I can then go and spend it how I want to be spending it with the people that I actually care about, or the work I want to be doing. Um, that's a bit of my own personal mechanism. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I find so funny is I often feel like this in our conversations where we've got the real polarity going, where you're coming with the very
Yeah.
masculine, the logical,
Yeah.
the structure. Like if people listen back to what you just said, it's very much you compartmentalize that this makes sense, this doesn't, put this over here. And I'm gonna come at it
Yeah.
with the raw, messy, emotional,
Yeah.
feminine, like just shit show. Because
Yeah.
like that would not work for me. Like that is
Mm.
so good. I wish that worked for me, but if I feel like I've been hit with an arrow, me being like, oh, well, like eventually I'll get to that. Eventually I'll
Yeah.
get to that point, but first I have to like release all of the
Yeah.
yuck stuff.
Yeah.
And what I've found is that because I've been attacked just countless times, like
Mm.
everyone, like people, there are people who hate me, like hate, like not a little bit hate, and
Yeah.
I'll get attacked by strangers for nothing. I'll get attacked by people that know me well because if you
Mm.
slightly change something, you raise a boundary or a standard. They were used to me being a doormat people pleaser who never spoke up for myself. All of a sudden, they don't like it anymore. And
Mm.
actually my coach right at the start when I first got serious about like business, he clocked this and he was like savage, right? And he was just like, Monica, like you've got to stop this, like stop caring so much. And he said, ask yourself this question: where are these people going to be in 5 years time? And funnily enough, it was about 5 years ago that they all stabbed me in the back, and I look back now, they have not moved. They're in the same place, the
Yeah.
same house, the same job, exactly the same circumstances. Nothing has changed. And I'm like, oh, okay. And it's like a lesson, like a muscle almost, right? Where you're like, it's actually not about us. But
Mm.
I used to take it so personally, especially because
Mhm.
I was like, there'd been no fight. There was nothing wrong. I'm like, they don't love me. I'm not lovable. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. And because I didn't have that strong inner support, when those sort of hits started coming, holy,
Mm.
like I've always said that if anything was going to stop me, it would have been that. The people in my life leaving because of my growth and attacking, and some of them were nasty. But I think now I often look at where the voice is coming from. So like, is
Yeah.
this someone that I actually respect? And you've said this before, right? The low hanging
Yeah.
fruit thing. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Fruit on the trees.
and
Hmm.
it's like you actually got to be that savage because we can't
Mm.
just be out here giving away all of our energy and our emotions to people that don't actually deserve it. And am I
Yeah.
saying everyone's not worthy? No, of course not. But actually, not everyone deserves access. And it's like
Mm.
if we are moving in integrity, authentically being honest, being kind, and someone wants to stab us in the back, then that's on them. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to own that. I'm not going to carry that shame for you. Take it back. I don't want it. And I used to do that. I used to blame myself all the time. Why did they treat me like this? It's because I'm not good enough. Like, it's because I'm not worthy. And then one day I was like, what the hell, man? Like, this is appalling behavior. I never would have done that to you. And it was happening over and over again. Like, just shocking the stories that I could tell you, honestly. But yeah, I feel like sometimes that's the key, like to actually just be brutally honest and look at people and be like, do I
Mm.
actually even care about your opinion? Is this even
Mm.
worth my time? Do you have a life that I want? Because
That's it. Like to
yeah,
talk about that, the fruit on the trees really quickly, like that's exactly
yeah,
what you're describing, right? It's like we should only really be taking in advice, thoughts, or allowing things to land with us if we look at this person and be like, do they actually have fruit on the trees? And what we mean by that is, do they have the results, success, if you want to call it that, that this person has, whether it be business, finances, wealth, whatever, but also just life, relationships, values, that sort of stuff. And if they do, then we can take that on. If they don't, then we don't, right? And just being
yeah,
super honest with that and super,
yeah.
super frank with ourselves, sort of about that. But I think actually one really important part of all of this, and even to what I was saying with my logical way of how I do it, which again is why I think these conversations are so good because we have such different approaches to things, but similar values, which is really nice. But is like when we are attacked, there's always going to be that huge just burst of emotion that does happen regardless of what our approach is after that, right? And I think it's actually just first of all, being okay and comfortable that those emotions will happen and they're allowed to happen. And just because you feel emotional or anything like that doesn't mean you're not any less capable of handling the situation and moving forward. I think that's just a really important thing to share because me as a man, it has been a struggle in the past of actually just not even acknowledging that emotion. Because if you don't and you just again try to bury it, then it comes back up and causes you all sorts of grief later. So I think, regardless of your approach after the point of emotion, is actually just, yeah, acknowledging it and allowing yourself to acknowledge it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. And we'll finish up soon. I just want to add on to that and then I'll ask you a final question and then we'll go.
Yeah.
Um, I was having this conversation with a dude who was like legit. He was in the Jordan army. He was like a special
Mm,
ops pilot, like a
wow.
literal hero, right? Like flying in and
Yeah.
saving people, like an actual real life hero. So anyway, I'm sitting on the beach having this chat with him, and and it was this conversation, and he was all like, "Oh well, I just decided that's not important, so I just pushed it away. Now it's gone." I'm like, "Bro, where did it go? It's not gone."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yes, it
Yeah.
is, because I just decided I can't do anything about it, so it's gone." And I was just like,
Mm,
"It's not gone. You've just shoved it into your subconscious. It's controlling every aspect of your life. Just because you don't think about it doesn't mean it's not there." That's the
mm,
core of this work, right? 95% of our mind is subconscious. And so I think it's so beautiful that you've brought this up for men, especially. I mean,
mm,
there are many
mm,
women that do the same thing, right? Because it's
mm,
hard to
mm,
face uncomfortable stuff. But
mm,
men, because you guys have a brain that can do that, you can just
mm,
compartmentalize, push it into the other box. Um,
mm,
I find this a lot as well. Like my male clients, they just, all this stuff comes up that they've never given themselves permission to feel. And it's 20, 30, 40 years ago. And they're like,
mm.
holy, this is like, yeah, they can't even believe it. I'm like, because it never went away. It was never given the light to be processed, right?
100%. Yeah. I think another way that I look at it as well, which is again a logical way to look at it, but like is with the subconscious mind. And when we have these things that we push to the side and we bury, it's taking up part of that subconscious, right? So it's taking up part of that mental computer, if you will. So then the more we do that, and then the more we try to cope and move through in our day to day, it's like trying to run with a laggy computer, a slow old computer, right? Because we're taking up all the storage that we can't then take in new stuff or even compute to do the shit that we need to do in our day to day, right? And that's why we
Yeah.
get maybe these feelings of like busy mind or scatteredness because our mental computer, our brain, or ourselves as a human has all the stuff, that baggage, if you will, or stuff kind of slowing it down.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, another reason why to go through this and talk about this stuff to clear up and free that space to be running more productively or
Yeah.
efficiently, if you will.
Yeah, 100%. And I'd even expand on that and say it's it'll come up like most powerfully when we try to change, when we try to step forward. It's not just going
Mm,
to lag, it's going to pull us back. It's like it's grabbing us by the ankles and trying
mm,
to pull us
yeah,
back. And it's
yeah,
like there is no way out but through. Like we just have to do the
mm,
work, and people don't want to, but you have to. You can't
yeah,
manifest your way out of this. You can't vision board your way out of a dysregulated nervous system. It has to be felt. It's the only way.
mm, mm. I
Anyway.
agree,
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, cool. So let's go back to the start of your journey
Mm.
and the start of your 4 years. What's like one of the most important things that you wish you understood then that you now know?
Mm.
Final message for the people, and then I'll let you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, sort of what we already talked about, how the journey won't necessarily be as smooth as I would have initially thought. But I already sort of shared on that. So, what's one other thing that I wish? Um, some may think this is a little bit cliche, but it's something that's really important to me. Was that you're allowed to make mistakes. Um, and why it's really important to me is I would say I'm a recovering perfectionist. So to me, when I was trying to get everything right and done at the start, it had to be perfect, and that just delayed the process, caused so many headaches, stresses, um, worse mistakes later down the line than just being okay and comfortable to make mistakes in the early days of starting my business. Absolutely, but even just in terms of personal development. Just because you see people online doing everything perfectly as they share their messages and, routines and habits and all that, if you're starting out, it's okay to make mistakes.
100%. And that is a wrap. Thank you for showing up for yourself, for being here, and please let me know your aha moments. I want to hear all about them. For extra support, make sure you're following me on TikTok and Instagram at the Monica Ferguson. Check out the School of Greatness for self-study courses. And of course, if you want one-on-one mentoring, just DM me and I would love to have a chat with you. Go and slay the day. Thank you for being you. See you soon.